Your environment means your surroundings. It includes people, places, and things. It's where you live. If you go to work or school, that's also part of your environment, as well as where you go for entertainment and opportunities to socialize. An environment that offers safety, shelter, and access to family, friends, and social services is essential for wellness. The right environment can make the difference between just getting along and having a lifestyle you really enjoy.
This week on All About Real Estate, we're going to show you a few quick tips on how to choose your next area to live. Tips on schools to taxes, even rural living compared to city living.
We're also going to talk to a financial professional with advice on how not only to get the most for your money while purchasing a home, but also lining yourself up for the highest resale value when it does come time to move.
And join us in our Build and Improve segment as we show you how to get that new home organized before you move in.
All that and more on this week's edition of All About Real Estate.
It sounded like a good investment.
Bustle of big city life and just settle down in a nice small town. Well, you wouldn't be alone. It's not uncommon to idealize the quiet, friendly atmosphere of community where everyone knows their neighbors. A survey released recently has found that while there are indeed some major differences in the sense of community and belonging in urban and rural settings, the two are not really that different. Living in cities or the centers of large towns usually means better access to public transportation, more available housing units, and closeness to community and social services. On the other hand, safety and security issues may be a concern. In some city neighborhoods, drug usage, street crime may be very common. Plus, the increased hustle and bustle of urban life can be stressful to some people. Suburban living can provide less stress, but public transportation is generally limited. This can make getting places such as work, school, and doctor's appointments harder. Being able to drive or carpool to work, school, and shopping are factors to consider. For some people who like the quieter life, rural living makes sense. There can be less stress and distractions. Often you will work and live at the same place or a nearby location, and there will be some form of family support. So what are some of the differences? Rural residents say they know most of their neighbors, twice as many as urban dwellers. While the differences between rural and urban areas are significant in some areas, some analysts say that the similarities are also greater.
Half of the kids, new kids that move into the state of Florida are actually moving into resale homes. They are making an impact in our schools. We're not collecting on that impact. The teachers, the firemen, the police can't afford today's housing market in most parts of the state. So it's going to change the way the real estate market is going to be working, because we're going to start integrating the high end with the low end with the middle and trying to actually create communities instead of just development.
When we come back, All About Real Estate takes you through your own checklist of how to pick a neighborhood best suited for you and your money.
And later we're going to sit down and talk with Neil Scapituolo from Pennacore Incorporated as he discusses the high influx and popularity of moving to the Sunshine State. Stay tuned. All About Real Estate will be right back. Estate. So you've picked what city you want to live in, and you've got the family all packed up and ready to move, but have you thought about where you're going to live once you get there? Picking a neighborhood is just as important as picking a city to live in, but there are a few signs you need to look for. How clean are the streets? How's the property upkeep in general? Are there streetlights, sidewalks? What's the noise level? Are there industries nearby, or train or airplane traffic? Do you notice any unpleasant odors from some unseen source? Everyday conveniences are often overlooked when choosing the right home for you and your family. Is public transportation within walking distance? Are thoroughfares or expressways accessible? Are there opportunities to attend sporting events, cultural affairs, adult education? Are there parks, trails, places to swim or boat, skate, and play golf or tennis nearby? And the distance to these amenities are nearly as important when choosing a place to live. Along with high energy prices, gas prices become a necessary part of your budget when living in rural areas. Some easy questions to ask yourself are obvious. How far to work from each house? How far to shopping, schools, hospital, places of worship and entertainment? How far to a fire station? How far from your friends or relatives? When All About Real Estate returns, we're going to show you how crime is a major factor in choosing an area to live and how your home can actually increase in value just because of where it's located.
Moving and want to know about crime in a particular area? Some house and apartment seekers mistakenly conclude that areas with higher property values and higher rents have less crime. Don't assume that well-groomed and well-kept neighborhoods have less crime than ones that are a little worn around the edges. Criminals may actually prefer nicer, more fluent neighborhoods.
It's not really the income of the community that has an effect on the crime rate. It's the involvement of the people in the community. 10 or 12 deputies can drive through here on a day-to-day basis. They don't live here. They don't know what's normal, what's abnormal, what's suspicious, what's not suspicious.
Everyone wants to live where it's safe, but safe implies being free of crime. No area is totally crime-free, even in so-called sleepy neighborhoods.
Drive through the neighborhood several different occasions, both daytime and nighttime. It'll give you a better feel of what the neighborhood is like, what activities are going on during the day, who or what is out on the street at night. I'm driving through this neighborhood now. Let's say I'm house hunting. It's my third time in, say, a week. Somebody calls local law enforcement because I don't belong in this neighborhood. I've never been in this neighborhood except to look at the houses. Law enforcement pulls me over and asks me why I'm here. I'm house hunting. Hopefully that would have a positive impression upon me that the people in this community, they care, they pay attention, they know when something unusual or a vehicle unusual is not supposed to be there is in the area, and take the time to call law enforcement.
And even if you could magically protect your neighborhood from all crime, what about the times you'd be outside of the protected confines? Consider that a lot of crime occurs in non-residential areas where you're likely to spend a considerable amount of your time, near supermarkets, drugstores, shopping malls, post offices, and banks. Keep this point in mind. Crime is a major consideration in choosing a community in which to live.
If the community is still under construction, the main thing is going to be to pay attention to what's going on. The more homes that are built, the greater effect it will have on the crime rate in that community. While there are no homes occupied, that's when the thieves come in for the construction test. It's going to be difficult because you're not going to know all the contractors and the subcontractors. But again, if you get that feeling something's out of place, something's unusual, out of the ordinary, never hesitate to call law enforcement. Let us come out and find out what's going on.
When children are involved in your home-making decisions, don't forget to pay attention to registered convicted sex offenders. This database contains public record information on offenders classified as sexual predators and sexual offenders under Florida law because of a conviction for a sex-related crime and/or a specified crime against children.
To find out how many sexual offenders or predators are living within your community, you can go to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement website or your television show's website, which has a link to it. You can check for sexual offenders and predators by an address, and then you can do a search from 1 to 5 miles. You can do it by a zip code, by a city, by a county, all these different ways of finding out who they are. The information it provides, it will give you a picture. It will give you a complete physical description, hair color, height, weight, an address where they live, what offenses they've committed.
This information is made available to interested citizens to help them educate themselves about the possible presence of such offenders in their local communities and near their
For joining us on another episode of All About Real Estate. We hope we provided you with some useful information as you embark on that new move.
And make sure to tune in next week as we follow up to picking that new place to live and finding that perfect home or property that's perfect for you and your families.
So from all of us here at All About Real Estate, we'll see you next time. Welcome back. We're here today with Neil Scapatuello from Pennicor Incorporated. He's our resident Florida market data. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. We're here today with Neil Scapatuello from Pennicor Incorporated. He's our resident real estate consultant. I can't spit that out. Welcome back. We're here today with Neil Scapatuello. He is our real estate resident consultant for the Florida area. How you doing today, Neil?
Good. What's going on?
You as many resources as you can possibly get, and I just
3, 2, 1.
I'm not yet. I started that, so I deserve it.
That was actually one of my questions for you, is with 1,100 people a day moving into the state of Florida.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.